All right, we are live. Welcome everybody to episode 80 of the weekly Q&A for the Productivity Academy. Be honest, I'm coming in off of a crazy week and really been putting my systems to the test and probably broke a few. But anyways, been moving. So I know that there's at least one person in the group who's been moving as well, and so that's always kind of a stressful time, a lot going on, lots of moving parts, physically, mentally kind of demanding. So anyways, that said, I'm really happy to be here today to be able to. Yesterday I wasn't even sure if the internet was going to be working at the new place, so it's been that kind of a week. But I'm here and really happy to dive into some of the questions as well as share some information about the productivity challenge that is kicking off today. But real quick, we're going to get into that. I just wanted to say if you're catching the replay, that's great. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, you can always find the link to come join us live in the group. And then if you're watching live, go ahead, ask questions if you got them. I'll be checking on that on the side and making sure that we get to those as time allows. All right, so let me minimize this and get over here. All right, cool. So what I wanted to talk about real quick, if you haven't heard about the Productivity Foundation Challenge, what it is a 14-day challenge meant to give you that foundation, right? Like the word implies, foundation in productivity. And the two major areas that I cover in the challenge is the daily review and then starting with automations, and not just talking about automations, but actually building one with you kind of step by step. That you can go through and add if you want. You can alter it slightly, and then also giving the instructions on how to know what you should automate in case this doesn't work for you, or down the road you want to automate more things. Looking at how you can automate, and then how you can kind of get a feedback loop so that you don't just have things falling apart or things that don't work or partially work, which is really important because a lot of times we think, oh well, I can just automate it and it goes away. And like a lot of processes, things like that, if there's no feedback loop on it, you can really have some issues. And I think this is a detail that a lot of people miss. But then coming back to the daily review, I think that this is so important, whether or not you're already doing a daily review or you haven't gotten there yet or you don't find it effective. I think both cases you can really benefit from this and seeing the steps involved and having a really effective daily review and how this carries on into the week, the month, 90-day cycle, whatever it is you do. So we've got it really broken down. Doesn't take much time each day. You can hop over, sign up, get started, and then, like I said, broken down into 14 days. And actually, let me share this with you. We've got second monitor. There we go. Cool. So this is where you go if you go to productivity.academy/ well, I guess I should have that up in front of me, /foundation challenge. This is where you're going to go. All you have to do is enter your info, get started. $7 access for the 14-day productivity challenge. And if you need more information, you can definitely listen to me talk real quick with the little dot over my head. But check it out. I think that this is a good one for anybody, no matter where you're at, whether you're just kind of feeling like you want to get started with productivity in terms of your daily review, in terms of automating things and really starting to build that foundation, or if you've already got what you feel is like a start, but you're really wanting to maybe dive into it a little bit deeper, maybe break it down and see what you can improve. I think for both of these cases, this is going to be really powerful for people. In addition to that, you get a free copy of the Foundation, the guidebook I wrote. It's a 60-page-ish book that dives into a lot more detail in different areas, and not just on the daily review and automation, but going into some team building, and there's a lot of stuff in there and some good bonuses as well. I don't want to spoil that for you. But again, hop over, sign up, come join us, and looking forward to that. If you want to join later down the road, that is fine too. All you need to do is go to productivity.academy/foundation challenge. Cool. All right, check real quick and see if we've got any questions. All right. Don't see anything yet. So the one I had was about how to really make your to-do list and really do it. And I think that there's a couple things we can touch base on here. And the way I like to think about this is a little bit like it's like doing your daily review. If you don't have a daily review, and I guess the analogy here would be if you just have like tasks all over the place, and you've got some in an app here and on a list here, and then yeah, it is kind of a mess, and it's really hard to keep track and understand what's going on. So a lot of what I talk about in the daily review is trying to prioritize and trying to batch like tasks and gathering everything in, right? Taking that kind of getting things done idea of having one central place where you can then clear things. I, of course, use different systems. I use sticky notes and all that, but bringing it together. I think this is equally important with your task list, that you bring everything together. And I see some people recommending that you should just have a task list that's like 3 things. And for me, I don't think that's practical. It doesn't work. I never have just 3 things to do. But there's wisdom in that. That's where you're going to. And I start with, okay, get everything together and then prioritize. Okay, you can do the kind of the triage. Is there anything here I can automate, delegate, delete? And that works great for your daily review, and it works great for your task list. Start getting things off it. Once you've gotten everything together, that is, you can start paring it down, and then you make your task list as small as possible. If you can get down to 1 thing, I think that's great. There's an entire book written about this called One Thing. But getting down to a manageable number. And then beyond that, there's a lot you can do in terms of time tracking. I think that it's difficult for a lot of people, but over time, I think that you start to get what's the word I'm thinking of here? Maybe like exponential results, in the sense that it's not linear. You get better and better at understanding yourself and how long tasks are going to take, or your team. And then that helps you with the entire cycle of assigning tasks and planning and understanding what you can get done, instead of having that constant feeling of overwhelm, or you're dropping things because you have too much to do, or you've said yes to too many things. And just as a side comment on this, the one thing I'm really liking for time tracking right now is this Timemuller. I actually forgot if they have a name for what it is, so my bad. But I love this thing, and I've incorporated it a little bit with the book Clockwork that I read by Mike Michalowicz, and he talks about in the business having you're segmenting your time by the 4 Ds, which would be doing, deciding, delegating, and designing. And I've got a few other things on here like learning and meetings, things like that. And I just flip that over onto whatever side I'm working on. And that way I don't have to go back and think about it a couple hours later. I don't have to, try to use something externally or have something guessing what I'm doing. This has been really good, and it's not so specific that like, okay, I spent, 3 minutes on Facebook looking for this piece of information. It's broadly broken down. Like, am I doing something? Am I deciding on what needs to be done or answering a question for someone? Am I working on delegating a project to someone else? Or am I designing? Am I doing like higher level stuff where I'm actually designing and working on my business? So I found that to be very helpful as kind of a fun aside. But anyways, the task list, I think there's a lot you can go into as far as getting better about actually doing your task list. And it starts off with being aware of all of your tasks, and then from that point starting to pare it down, and then working on your time management skills, whether that's understanding how long tasks actually take you, maybe saying no to a few more projects so that you can get down to just having the bare minimum of tasks each day, and then realizing that hey, sometimes some things don't need to be done, and some days you're going to have a lot of tasks, and that this is a long-term process. That there isn't anything that you just snap your fingers and magically you're that person who has 1 task per day. It doesn't happen like that. But by going through this process fairly simply, over time you'll get a lot better at it. And again, the time management part is really important, but also takes a while to get used to. But the payoff is very high. So just kind of going into it with that understanding, I think, will really help. All right, gonna check real quick for any questions. I see Jenny is watching. Hello, Jenny. How's it going? Let's see. Nothing else right now, so I'm just going to say real quick, if you didn't see earlier, come join the Productivity Challenge. You can go to productivity.academy/foundation challenge. And actually, I'm going to post that right here. Join the Productivity Foundation Challenge. All right, so I think that'll wrap it up for this week. Looking forward to seeing everybody either in the group or joining the challenge. And then I will be back next week to answer more questions. So have a good one.